say it never rains in Southern California, but it's pouring in the Bay.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Secret Services Celebrity Psychic Readings. I'm going to be your reader for today, Quintari Shakir. Please make sure you go to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com and purchase a private psychic reading. Also, make sure that you like this video, share this video, comment on this video, and subscribe to this video. Please share this video with someone in your spiritual family. With that being said, if you want more exclusive content, such as videos about celebrity psychic readings that have not been released to YouTube, or you want more spiritual information about spiritual enlightenment or readings about the Black community, please go to patreon.com/Black Spectrum Network. My Patreon account will have exclusive psychic readings, exclusive educational content on it that is only available for purchase through the Patreon account. And just for $2 a month, you can get all of my psychic readings at least a week early. Now, with that said, we're going to jump right into this reading on T.I. and Tiny. Okay, so this first reading that we're going to do is going to be on the personality of T.I. I get the card for the King. The card for the King for T.I. is speaking about him being someone that he feels that he is royalty. He speaks and acts and emits an air of regal authority. They're also saying that T.I. feels incredibly entitled to material things in this world, so he feels that the world is his oyster, and it was created for his pleasure. This is all to say that T.I. is incredibly tapped into his crown chakra, so he is able to see through the matrix. He knows that he's a powerful manifester. He knows that his thoughts will create his reality, and he has an expectation that those around him will serve him. He's a very headstrong leader. I see that I see that he's the brains behind his business. I also see that he surrounds himself with people that are physically stronger than him to keep himself protected. In addition to that, I hear that people like being led by T.I. because they've always eaten better working with T.I. than working by themselves. The final thing that I'm hearing about this card is that T.I. Can be very rigid in how he enacts his authority or tries to control situations that he feels he should control. So usually those situations involve other people. You know that you can't really control what other people do, but with him being the king, he will use his influence and his masculinity to control what people do or to limit or restrict the range of behaviors that you can enact. I get the card for the Mystic. This is speaking about T.I. being very spiritual. And I'm hearing that he is a praying man. I also wouldn't be surprised if he burned candles, if he burned sage. I am hearing that he meditates, participates in a lot of self-care. I'm not hearing that he's particularly connected with any divine forces, but much rather he has a deep spiritual connection to God. And I'm also hearing that he really respects the male ancestors in his family, the patriarchs. I'm hearing that there is a grandfather that he really looks up to, and that grandfather is responsible for him being protected in the streets and in the music industry. The next card I get is the card for the artist. This is speaking about T.I. being someone that is, obviously he's a rapper, but this is speaking more about his songwriting abilities. He's written songs for other people. I wouldn't be surprised if he's ghost written for other people just to collect the check. But with that being said, I'm saying where he tries to live his life as though he's an artist, and he wants to create a beautiful picture with his life. So he feels as though if you look back at his career history, that you will find that his creative inspiration is what led him to his marriage. His creative inspiration is what led him to his success. His creative inspiration is what elevated him out of his impoverished background. With that being said, it was his artistry that saved his life. In addition to that, this card is saying that the artist uses his talent to sometimes mistreat other people. So he can, he can be a diva and blame it on, I want to be treated this way. I'm used to being things being done this way. I've always handled it this way. People in the streets did me this way. Because he's an artist, he can create an argument out of thin air to justify whatever behavior he wants to justify. But that's usually what kings do when they're trying to pave new pathways for good treatment. People don't typically know how to treat a king. They have to learn how to treat a king, and a king is a human being. His desires will change as time passes on, and he will attribute, rather than him saying, hey, my interests have changed because I've grown, he'll say, well, I'm an artist. That you're supposed to think 2 steps ahead of me. This is my responsibility as an artist. I'm here to create. You have to make sure that I'm taken care of. So with that being said, it could borderline on the abuse of services for people. So he may have unrealistic expectations for the teams of people that are around him helping him. Okay, the 2 cards that I get here, I'm just going to put both of these down, are the child nature and the child divine. The child for nature card talks about, speaking about T.I. having a deep love for animals, but I'm hearing particularly dogs. He also may like horseback riding as well, but I do know that from this card, I do know that he likes animals, so I wouldn't be surprised if he has spent a lot of time in the wilderness, if he watches National Geographic, if he attributes human behavior to animalistic tendencies or an animalistic nature that's hidden within humans. With all that being said, the friendship with animals card is speaking specifically about him having an affinity for dogs, him having a deep care for dogs. I wouldn't be surprised he was friends with Michael Vick or felt that Michael Vick should have gotten off or should never have been arrested. The child divine card is speaking about T.I. having a childlike interpretation of the world. This is where I see that T.I. still likes to be hip. He still likes to hang out with the young boys, even though he doesn't really fit in with them. He is the cool uncle. T.I., he still, I hear that he still rides, AVs. He still likes to mountain climb. He still likes to play video games. He's very, playful. No, I did not watch the reality show. I am familiar with who T.I. is. I'm very familiar with who Tiny is, but I don't really keep up with T.I. or his personality. So with that being said, these cards are specifically speaking about T.I. Having a special connection with his 8-year-old self and never really growing out of it. I feel like, at 7 to 8 years old was like, a very important point in his life where he was extremely spoiled. He got a lot of attention, especially from young girls who thought he was cute. And that just really helped to establish his self-esteem during those very formative years in his cognitive development as an adolescent. So with all of that being said, that's what I get from T.I. Now for Tiny, the card that I get for Tiny, I get the card for the healer. So this is talking about this is talking about Tiny being a therapist or a counselor to her homegirls, her girlfriends. It's also speaking about her, having this deep desire to help those that are in pain, which is why she sings the music that she does, which is why she does the work that she does. Whether that's the beauty work, the talk show work. Or if she's, just out and about, shopping with her friends, she's the therapist of the group. They're also saying that, Tiny is very centered, mind, body, and spirit. So what she and T.I. have in common is that they both have a desire to harmonize themselves. Will basically balance their inner chakras and harmonize themselves with the spirit. I get the card for femme fatale. So this is talking about Tiny being a man eater. So despite what people may say about her physical form, or them trying to say that she has physical deformities, or that her butt looks like an elephant, or a chicken, the femme fatale card says that hey, that chicken booty is very attractive to a lot of men, and she's a man eater. It's saying that she's deeply tapped into her feminine energy, and that when she opens up her heart, that when she opens up her heart is one of the safest places that someone can start confessing their deepest, darkest secrets, and she will keep them for you. And in addition to that, she's very nurturing, very sexual woman, sexually attractive. She knows what she's doing. But they're also saying that the femme fatale card means that she can sometimes use her feminine sexuality and her girl power for the wrong reasons. It's usually used to attract money and to attach herself to powerful people. The heroine card is speaking about her being a hero in the community that she's from. So we know that Tiny has an urban fan base, or a lot of women that live in urban communities do look up to her, black, white, and other races that make up the U.S. population. But that's all to say that this urban community looks up to her as a hero. They see her as, the first lady. She's the BET's version of Michelle Obama to a lot of women. And they really do respect her ability to maintain her marriage. She's kind of like, people look at her with the same respect that they look at Lala, the same respect that they look at other women that have been, I wouldn't say it so much as long suffering, but, they didn't give up on their marriages. Even Dr. Jackie from Married to Medicine is all in that same realm of reverence that Tiny sits in. She's very respected amongst the women that follow her and the women that are influenced by her. I get the child wounded card and then the companion card together. The child wounded card is speaking about Tiny always being a very forgiving woman, forgiving towards her friends, forgiving towards other people. She doesn't hold grudges very long. It's also talking about her having a desire to help wounded children. I'm hearing that this is why she does have so many children. Not like she has a lot, but she has so many children because as a child she was neglected, but at the same time she got through her neglect by loving on other people. And that's just how she's always been. She feels like, you might throw a punch at her, but she's going to blow a kiss to you. She's going to kill you with kindness. But the companionship card speaks about the child wounded card at the same time, saying that because she kills you with kindness, the companion card is saying that she's built very strong, loyal, and trusting relationships with her friends and family. They will step in and beat your ass if you hurt her. So that's why she's not afraid of getting hurt. So with that being said, her needs may go unneglected because she's always giving. But as soon as she's upset or she starts crying, what you can expect is that her tears then become a hex over your life, and her family and all her friends that were neglecting her will then beat your ass. So with that being said, though, that's what I get from the cards about T.I. and Tiny. All right, so I'm going to shuffle my cards to I'm going to shuffle these cards to prepare for my list of questions about T.I. and Tiny, their marriage and their relationship. Hold on just one second. Okay, so my first question is, I want to know what T.I. and Tiny's marriage is like overall. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this first row of cards here. Excuse the mess, y'all. As far as the cards that you all can see. Okay, I get the card for the Three of Hazards, the card for the Seven of Wands, and the card for the Star. This is all speaking about that. These cards are saying that T.I. tries to, from the outside, this is describing the surface of the relationship. It's saying from the outside looking in, they try to portray themselves as though they're a happy family, but people can see that the Three of Hazards is speaking about taking action. Taking action on, financial matters in regards to family and family bonding. So and then the Seven of Wands is speaking about using your magic to orchestrate through chaos. So what we do know from these two cards, the arithmetic of them together would tell us that, from the outside looking in, we can clearly see that this is a chaotic family situation, but they try their best to cover it up. And, they don't want you to see any of the loose threads. They don't want you to see that there's dust under the rug, but there's a stench that's emanating from this relationship that everyone, it's like, hey, who farted in aisle one? We know that this is a fart because, the meat aisle usually does stink, but this smells like some shit. The Star card is saying that they try to keep their drama out of the public eye, and they exhaust themselves with that. T.I. spends, a little bit of his day every day making sure that rumors are shut down and trying to make sure that the truth never comes out. Here's what I have to say. A lot of rumors about their family are true, but he has, made sure to, if a rumor can spread like wildfire, but he will douse the rumor out, by taking legal action against that person. So it never catches fire. You know what I mean? So he does a great job of keeping keeping the public out of their family business. Okay, now inside the marriage, however, I get the Queen of Swords, the King of Swords, and then the Eight of Hazards reversed. This is talking about T.I. and Tiny having a business relationship with each other. There's not really much love between them. It's they think with their heads, not with their hearts at this point in time. And what their marriage is like right now with the Eight of Hazards is T.I.'s head is not in the marriage. He's only there to really just provide protection for the wife, and his family. It's just to protect them. I also hear it as, Tiny uses her money to, take care of the family as well. She's trying to not be financially dependent on him anymore. She doesn't like that he tries to control her in that way. And then the Eight of Hazards is also speaking about T.I. just being disconnected from his heart. In terms of the family, he handles his family matters like a business. They're like business transactions. So he even makes this is. I mean, we'll get into this with my next question, but there are definitely some. It's like, I'll put it to you this way. If T.I., most couples really don't need non-disclosure agreements between themselves, but they have non-disclosure agreements between the two of them, T.I. and Tiny. It's like, I don't know why that would be. Even then, it's like there are mirrors surrounding their energy. So I feel like I feel almost as though T.I. prays or T.I. has a spiritual worker around him that prays for him that doesn't really allow for you to see into his relationship like that. But they do sign non-disclosure agreements with each other. It is a very business-like relationship. I don't feel like they share all of their assets with one another. In addition to that, I feel as though Tiny has to ask T.I. for permission to do certain things or to make certain deals. And I feel like some of their conversations that they may have sometimes are even like, we have to make sure that we have this conversation in front of a lawyer and then we have to sign an NDA. Things like that. But I don't see divorce for them. Much rather, I see it as they're in this marriage, but the love is definitely lost. And because T.I. cares about his family so much, and he is a family man, he's like, no matter what, that's my child's mom, and I'm going to make sure she's set up, that she's straight. Nobody's going to disrespect her, whether it's, somebody I know, somebody I don't know, or somebody, just a media institution. Is not going to happen. He wants to protect his family by any means necessary. So even with me trying to investigate into this reading, if I'm not able to give you tea the way that you want tea about like what goes on in their marriage, is because he's protecting his family. All right, so now my next question is, do they have threesomes in their marriage? I get the card for the 10 of Hazards, the card for the 3 of Cups, which speaks about infidelity. And I'm going to flip this over. The card for the 5 of Cups. It doesn't matter if I read. By the way, I know people question my style of reading, and I'm just going to say this. I'm a psychic medium. In Haitian Vodun, my spirits, that I speak to spirits, so I can hear them directly when they're talking to me. Okay? So my spirit guides don't change. All right? It doesn't matter if the card is right side up, if it's reversed, if it's on its face. I don't even need cards to read, to be honest with you. I'm an intuitive reader. So don't worry about why I flip cards over. Just listen to my message. My gift is my gift. You can't analyze my gift. You can't empirically study my gift, and you will never understand my gift without me telling it to you. So that's my little 15 minutes of rambling. 15 seconds of rambling. Okay, so the 10 of Hazards, the 3 of Cups, and the 5 of Cups is speaking specifically about the threesomes. The 10 of Hazards says that, they do have the threesomes, but the threesomes definitely don't interfere with their marriage. They don't have a 3-way relationship. There's no, you're going to continue dealing with this woman on the side. There's none of that. They don't allow for their children to know about it. They don't allow for their children to see it. It's rumored. There are definitely rumors swirling around it, but they don't allow for that to be confirmed at all. They even have like a hidden, like they have a house for that, like they have a room for that, in a specific house for that. That we don't even know about. The 3 of Cups is speaking about infidelity, bringing things into the marriage, swinging. They do have threesomes, but they typically have threesomes with other married couples. They will bring a woman in, but usually that woman may be a mother, and they're paying her, and she has a lot to lose. So the 5 of Cups speaks about, they have phenomenal bedroom experiences, and it's like, it's addictive. They have a lot of fun. And sometimes the women get attached to the experience, and they want to be, this is how I see it. T.I. pleasures these women to please Tiny. Like, he gives them great sex with Tiny. And then he finishes those women off, makes those women watch, and then he does Tiny in. Like, he blows her cervix to smithereens. It looks like a busted Hot Pocket when he's done. With that said, those women love that. It blows their mind. It sends them above and beyond this entire, it's so savage, sexual, primitive, that those women end up, they're like, yo, I gotta have more of T.I. I want to know more about him, more about his personality. They get really attached to him. in their heads, and it's like they have to be selective about who they invite into their bedroom, because it's a lot of kicking out, and sometimes it's 2 or 3 women in the room. And T.I. and one of his homeboys. So it's not just the number 3. I actually get the number 5. But typically it is the number 3. As far as the amount of people that are in the bedroom with them. These are some very hot encounters. Okay, so in this marriage, I now want to know, what does T.I. want, and then what does Tiny want? What does T.I. want, and what does Tiny want? For T.I., I get the card for death. I get the card for the Empress. I get the 2 of Swords. The card for death, and the card for death is speaking about he wants things to come to an end so new things can begin.
Been a long time, but I still got love for you, and that won't ever change. San Jose, they say it never rains in Southern California, but it's pouring in the Bay. San Jose, girl, I know we tried to tell ourselves those lies.